Hi, in this video I'm going to introduce you to Elkhorn Slough and give tips on planning a paddling adventure. Elkhorn Slough is my favorite place to stand up paddleboard because it offers the unique opportunity to immerse yourself in a vibrant saltwater habitat filled with sea life, but its narrow channels are largely protected from the large swell and ocean waves. The information in this video, learned over several months of paddling in the slough, would be helpful to first-time paddlers, as well as experienced paddlers looking to paddle the full length of the slough. Planning your paddle in the slough is important because the tides, wind, and only 2 launch locations spaced 4 miles apart present some challenges and could turn your paddle into an ordeal if you don't anticipate them. Don't ask me how I know. First, I'll give an introduction to Elkhorn Slough and highlight its major landmarks. Second, I'll discuss how you can use the tides, current, and wind to your advantage to make your paddle a more enjoyable workout. Then I'll discuss a paddling experience that begins and ends at the Moss Landing Harbor. Then I'll show you how to do a more advanced and challenging paddle expedition that covers the full length of the slough. This is my favorite type of paddle on the slough. Finally, I will share my scariest paddle experience on the slough and discuss how you can avoid this happening to you. Elkhorn Slough is located on the California coast at Moss Landing in Monterey Bay. The slough sits midway between the cities of Santa Cruz, which is 25 miles to the north, and Monterey, which is about 20 miles to the south. Much of Elkhorn Slough is a national estuarine reserve, so its wetlands and wildlife are protected, and there are many efforts to restore the marshlands. Over the years, these efforts have helped make the slough an even more extraordinary place to paddle, either as a stand-up paddleboarder, kayaker, or rower. The information in this guide is focused on stand-up paddleboarding because that's what I have experience with. But this guide would also be interesting and useful for anyone visiting this slough, either on or off the water. Some special places and landmarks you need to know about are the Moss Landing Harbor boat launch, the Route 1 bridge, Seal Bend, the Moonglow Dairy, Elkhorn Slough Research Reserve Visitor Center, and finally Kirby Park. The Moss Landing Harbor boat launch is the main launch site for stand-up paddlers, kayakers, and rowers, and I highly recommend starting and ending there for your first paddles. You can launch at the beach that is often filled with rental kayaks on the weekends, or you can use the adjacent concrete boat launch ramp. I like to launch from the muddy beach, but I usually go to the ramp on exiting because your board stays cleaner. The Route 1 bridge is the gateway to the slough, and you will need to go under it to enter the slough. The challenge here is that at high tide there is only about 7 or 8 feet of clearance, so if you are tall like me, you may want to kneel so that the end of your paddle does not hit the bridge. Once you get past the bridge, the water tends to calm down. About a mile after the bridge, you will come to Seal Bend, where there are usually many sea otters eating and resting, and seals hold out on the shore. As you go around Seal Bend heading east, on your right you'll see a large grove of eucalyptus trees, and then the Moonglow Dairy Farm will slowly drift past you. From this point eastward, you will be going deeper and deeper into the slough. You will likely be entirely on your own, since few people that start at Moss Landing will venture beyond Moonglow Dairy. But if you press on, you will find yourself in the heart of Elkhorn Slough Reserve and be rewarded with tons of wildlife and beautiful scenery. On a safety note, I have found that cell phone coverage with AT&T is excellent anywhere along the slough. So bring along your cell phone in a waterproof pouch so that if you get into difficulty, you could call for help. Heading still farther east, you will pass Hummingbird Island, and about a mile further, you arrive at Kirby Park. There is a small dock with a boat ramp there, so it is easy to launch or retrieve your board from the water. This end of the slough is nice for its remoteness and is ideal if you want to get away from it all. Note that all of the banks of the slough are muddy flats or protected wetlands, and you are not permitted to stop because sea otters and seals haul out along most of it. So there is really no place to stop and rest on shore along the way, and there are only two places you can realistically enter or exit the water: Moss Landing Harbor and Kirby Park. The paddling distance between Moss Landing Harbor and Kirby Park is a little over 4 miles as the sea otter swims.